What's up everyone, my name is Zach and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing like a cozy little spooky Halloween fall season book haul. So I got a bunch of spooky books, a bunch of fall reads, videos that I have planned that I got books for. So yeah, I just want to do like a little cozy fall book haul, and that is the point of today's video. Before we jump into that, you might have noticed in the thumbnail that I was wearing a hoodie that I'm not now wearing because it is too hot still, unfortunately, in Virginia for me to be wearing a hoodie right now. But I did want to say thank you to everyone who purchased the merch for the current readathon that is going on. And I wanted to show it to you guys because it's really cool. I actually designed it myself. I did the best I could. I'm not an artist, but it says, "Sorry I didn't come. I was reading one more chapter." So I'll show it to you guys. So yeah, I was wearing that in support of the readathon, and yeah, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who purchased this. I will be doing these same sets of readathons next year, and there'll be like a different merch line next year if everything goes the way that I hope it does. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has bought merch. A very special thank you to the Mostly Ghostly crew who bought Mostly Ghostly merch. That was my first time ever selling merchandise, so I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported my channel and bought that merch. So yeah, let's get right into the books. If you're new here, welcome. Subscribing to my channel helps me out a ton. A like on the video goes a long way, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if you're hoping to read any of these books, if you've bought any of these books, if any of these books stand out to you in any way. I would love to hear from you, and any reviews if you have read them. I will say, if you're new here and haven't watched a book haul of mine before, I don't spend a whole lot of time like super in detail talking about what the books are about. I save that for the videos that I do based off the books because every single one of these books has a video planned for it. So all of my thoughts and in-depth plot will be in those books. I mostly am going to focus on why I bought the book, maybe what I've heard about the book, sort of what it's supposed to be about, like the genre. I'm not going to leave you high and dry, but this is not going like super in detail about what a book is about. I will save that for the videos based off the books. So let's get started. I'm going to start. These are in no order. I actually was holding a stack of this stack of books for the thumbnail and ended up dropping the entire stack. They weren't in any order before, and no books really got injured, thankfully, during that, but they're certainly in no order now. So the first book is A Study in Drowning, which I have actually already read. I finished this yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure. Either yesterday or the day before. All of my thoughts will be in a video that will be coming out in a week or so. This is Ava Reed's YA debut. So she is a pretty popular adult fantasy author. She writes a lot of gothic, fairy tale retelling sort of stories. This is a very, very interesting book. I would say to classify it as a genre, it's YA. It's definitely readable for people like me who are not the target audience. And I also don't like a whole lot of YA anymore, but I found that I've been saying that a lot recently, which means that I've been reading more YA than I think I have. But I think I've gotten like a lot more specific about the YA I like. This is a very gothic, spooky house, mysterious author, enemies to lovers YA novel, and I can't wait to tell you all about my thoughts in the video that I have coming out in about a week about this. Okay, so the next books are a trio of Agatha Christie books. It is Halloween Party, which there is a new movie out called A Haunting in Venice. If you've heard about that movie, this is the book that's based off of. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd and The Mysterious Affair at Styles. So these three Agatha Christie books I got for a specific video that I'm doing. I'm not doing a very good job of holding these up. Okay. Yeah, good enough. I am doing a video where I'm creating a murder board. Well, I'm attempting to, in order to try to solve these books. They will be in separate videos. I know for sure this is going to be in a video by itself, and these will either be coupled in a video or will each be in a video by themselves. But what I'm really excited about is that the Mostly Ghostly crew, which is my channel membership, are reading these books with me and making their own murder boards. So it's kind of like a group effort, and I'm really excited. Nobody is helping each other out throughout the process, but we are talking about findings and connections and that sort of thing. So I'm just really excited, and I'm looking forward to reading more Agatha Christie. I am a fan of hers. I've been reading Agatha Christie for a long time. I've never read these three, though, so I'm very excited to kind of dive into murder board making, and I really want to see this movie. It looks really good. Okay, so I've been very excited for Midnight is the Darkest Hour. I've been talking about this book since the summer, and I'm glad that it's finally out. I do have a video planned for this one, but what I understand about this is it's kind of like a thriller, dark fairy tale sort of story about two people who are from the wrong side of the tracks. I honestly don't know a whole lot going into this, but Ashley Winstead wrote In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which is a dark academia thriller. I would say it's both dark academia and a thriller. In fact, I was watching a booktube video earlier she was talking about how it's Meg with Books, I believe, was talking about how In My Dreams I Hold a Knife is exactly like a dark academia and a thriller. So I loved that book by Ashley Winstead. I gave it 5 stars. And then I read The Last Housewife recently for a different video, and I didn't really like that, but I think it's because I went in with wrong expectations. I do know that I really enjoy this author's writing, and this seems to be a little bit out of what she typically writes. The sort of vibes and pull that I have of this is it's like feels like dark magic. I don't actually know if there's anything magical about it. It says a dark and powerful novel like fans have come to anticipate from Ashley Winstead. Midnight is the Darkest Hour is an examination of the ways we expect love, religion, and stories to save us, the lengths we have to go in order to take back power, and the monstrous work of being a girl in this world. It also says, a killer haunts a small southern town, and 2 outcasts, the preacher's daughter and the boy from the wrong side of the tracks, hold the key to uncovering it. So yeah, maybe there's not anything supernatural. It reminds me of how sometimes real life things are kind of the darkest force that exist and sometimes feel supernatural. Maybe that's what I'll get from this. I don't know. I'm really excited though, and I love this cover. I was originally going to listen to this on audio. I may still listen to it on audio, but I knew I had to have this cover. I know you've probably heard that Brandon Sanderson had this secret project thing that he's been releasing all year. This is the 3rd one. Yeah, so I am planning to release a video hopefully at the end of January after the 4th one is released in physical. I think the 4th one actually comes out very soon on Kindle and maybe audiobook, but I want to read the physicals as they come out. So I'm going to be making my way through these very soon. You can expect a video of me reviewing all of Brandon Sanderson's secret projects probably towards the end of January. I'm not exactly sure when the 4th one comes out in physical in January. So probably somewhere towards the end of January, beginning of February. But I love the Mistborn series. I still need to read the Stormlight Archives, but I'm slowly making my way through all of Brandon Sanderson's books because I'm a big fan. Mistborn, it just blew me away. I didn't know that someone could craft such a world and characters and story, and I know that I'm only scratching the surface of Brandon Sanderson. And I love the ideas of the secret projects, how they're just kind of like one-off stories. They're not really like a series. They're just kind of like these one-off ideas, and I'm really, really excited to see how creative he can be in sort of a shorter version of himself because his books are really long. So yeah, I'm very excited for this, and I'm very excited to make that video. I think it's going to be really, really fun. All right, the next book I have here is A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. So this is very interesting. I read The Haunting of Hill House a few months ago because it's my wife's favorite book. She is a literature major and writes a lot of like research papers and studies about The Haunting of Hill House, and it's just been a focal point of her literature journey. And so I was like, oh, I should read this book. And I read it and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it definitely is not like my favorite book of all time or anything, but I thought it was really crafty and unique, and I'd never really read a story like it before. And sorry, my hair is getting long, and so it's always in my face. Anyways, yeah, so I was like, I have to read it, and I enjoyed it, and I thought it was really crafty and unique. And recently, I've started watching the TV show adaptation, which is very different from the story. But yeah, I'm going to make a video where I talk about this book that is separate. And then I might make a video also talking about the adaptations of A Haunting of Hill House. And I might have Casey on for that because she's like an expert in the differences between the original Haunting of Hill House book and the show. But anyways, I'm loving the show right now. It's perfect fall watch, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying it, and I didn't think that I would. But this is interesting because the author of this story actually got permission from Shirley Jackson's family to write a sequel. So I don't know that I would call this like like specifically like a sequel, but she got permission to write in that same world as Shirley Jackson. I just think that's so cool. This is a sapphic story that takes place in the same universe as A Haunting of Hill House. And I believe they go back into the house after some time, but I'm really mostly here because I loved A Haunting of Hill House. I love the show. I love the atmosphere and the eeriness that is The Haunting of Hill House. So I'm excited to see what this author is going to do with it. And it's sapphic. Like, yes, please. Now for a book that I'm sure you've seen all over BookTube and people's anticipated releases, because I think so many people are excited for this book, and that is Starling House and I am really, really excited to read this. Just like everybody else. This is supposed to be like a truly like gothic fairy tale whimsical sort of story about a house, and I don't really know a lot else about it. I've talked about it in either my October TBR or my fall TBR. Somewhere recently I talked about this book, and it's a little bit convoluted, so I'm very excited to figure out what a house does in this book. So these two I'm excited for similar reasons. I want to see what a house can do to somebody, and I just love gothic stories, and they're very atmospheric and whimsical and magical. And the way that stories are conveyed by using the atmosphere and such deep character development, I feel like is really unique and hard to find. But these gothic books do it so well, and I'm all about them right now. Maybe after I read a bunch of them, I'll make a video of like gothic recommendations, because I am very excited, and this is the perfect time. It's fall. I want to get cozy. I want to read like about eerie things. I'm just really looking forward to this. So the next book I definitely have talked about in my most recent TBR, so I won't spend too much time on it, but that is You Again. I'm very excited for this because it's gotten really good reviews, and it's supposed to be a retelling of when Harry met Sally, or Sally met Harry. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but I plan to watch it after I read this. What I know about it is that these two people were actually dating the same girl, I believe, at the same time, or had both recently dated her, and so they kind of become friends, and it's kind of the story of their lives and their friendship, which then turns to more. So I'm just excited. It's totally fall vibes. I haven't been reading a lot of romance recently. I feel like when I've wanted romance recently, it's been like heavier hitting. I don't know. I just feel like the gloomy fall feeling is I want to think, and like I'm not right now is not the mood for just like quick rom-coms for me. I mean, this is a rom-com. It's supposed to be funny, and I'm looking forward to that. But I hope it touches topics that feel a little bit deeper, because quick, shallow books are not the mood right now. So that's kind of my hopes for You Again. With that similar trend is Witches Get Stuff Done. So this is a story about a girl who inherits her great aunt's house, and I think it's actually like a mansion, and Starfall Point is the name of the town. I suspect this is going to end up being a series. Also, I love this cover. So yeah, she inherits in this house of her aunts, and I believe she has like magical powers, and she is kind of in a feud with the town librarian, which is this guy. It reminds me of, what's that book? Oh man. The Kiss Curse, I think, is the X-Hex. I really, really love the X-Hex, and this kind of gives me similar vibes. This would be probably in that category of a little bit more shallow and goofy, but because it's witchy, I think it's the right time to read this, so I hope to read it sometime in October or November. The witchiness does not stop in October. We continue to be witchy all year round. Like, that's why I named my channel membership Mostly Ghostly, because I just love fall and cozy and spooky year round. I mean, it's really hard in the summer when you're sweating your ass off, but otherwise I try to keep the fall mood year round. But if there's any time, it's the present, and hopefully this will make it in between all the other really exciting videos that I have planned in the month of October. The next book that I wanted to share with you guys is The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. I bought this because it reminded me of Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I absolutely loved that book. That is a hard-hitting, cozy romance fantasy, I would say. It's definitely a cozy fantasy, but it's also like a romance, and I really, really loved that book. If you haven't read it, I highly, highly recommend it. This kind of gave me a similar feeling of like a hard-hitting, witchy story. It says, Sadie has always believed that the curse of 4 heartbreaks that accompanies her magic would be worth the price. But when her grandmother is diagnosed with cancer with only weeks to live, and her first heartbreak, Jake, returns to a town after the decade, her carefully structured life begins to unravel. With the news of their grandmother's impending death, Sadie's estranged twin brother Seth returns to town, bringing with him deeply buried family secrets that threaten to tear Sadie's world apart. Their grandmother has been the backbone of the family for generations, and with her death, Sadie isn't sure she'll have the strength to keep the family and her magic together. As feelings for Jake begin to rekindle and with her grandmother growing sicker by the day, Sadie faces the last of her heartbreaks and she has to decide, is love more important than magic? That just gives me chills. I know this is going to be heavy hitting. My family is going through something similar right now. My grandmother is not actively dying, but she is getting older and we're going through a lot of changes. She was in the hospital recently for like almost 2 weeks, and there's just been a lot of changes like with her memory and things like that. And so I have been seeking out things that might make me feel like I'm not alone. I know logically I'm not alone. I know people go through this all the time and we make it through it. But I think this might be really beneficial to me right now. It does not make a lot of sense, so bear with me. But I bought Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I never read the From Blood and Ash series, but this is like a completely separate thing. I don't know if it takes place in... Ooh, why is there dust on this? I don't like when dust gets on my books. Anyways, I don't think that this doesn't even take place in the same world, I don't think. But if it does, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know anything about From Blood and Ash. And I actually don't know anything about this. It says, breathtaking suspense and scorching romance meet in this immersive new fantasy from the mega best-selling author, blah, blah, blah. She lives her intuition. He feeds on her pleasure. Ugh, man, I hope this isn't cringy. All right, the last book I want to share with you guys is Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. I have actually never read anything by this author. I know we owned the Book of Accidents because my wife bought it last fall, I believe. But I've heard really good things about his writing. And recently, for a video I did called What the Bleep Did I Read, I read Dead 11 and I loved that book. It was like a horror thriller and I absolutely loved it. And this is giving me similar vibes. And I think I'm searching for that same sort of feeling that Dead 11 gave me. This is the story about a town where there is a tree that has this magical fruit and people eat the fruit and it gives them like, not like superpowers, but like enhanced living. But of course, where things... when you get what you want in a horror novel, there are always consequences, and I think the town starts to suffer from those consequences. This is a really long book, but I think it's supposed to be like just a commentary on the things that we desire as humans and if it's really worth it, and it's supposed to be just like a dark magic kind of story. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this. Okay, let's see if I can do this without dropping them this time. But as a stack, here are all the books that we just talked about, which are so many books. I'm very excited to read all of these and talk about them with you all. I'm very excited to share my opinion. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you watched this video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. A very special thank you to the Mostly Ghostly crew for supporting my channel every month. If you're interested in joining the channel membership, we have a monthly hangout on Discord where we get together on a video call and talk about life and books. We read a book together every other month. They get to vote on content. We have a separate Discord where we do fun little hangouts and talk about life and do like one-off things like the Agatha Christie thing, and they support my channel in another way every month, and I'm very thankful for them. So if you're interested in joining that, you can just click the join button right below the screen. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Down, my head in my hands now. Play it back, I still can't seem to figure out when the rain came and we became. Almost say it came.